And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. It's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and
And this a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am Heat, and we are back for another week of live talk. Thanks for tuning in. We are streaming live and direct on Instagram. Looking at it now, we're looking good. X, formerly known as Twitter, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook Live and YouTube. If you would like to subscribe, please, we are running a drive to 10,000 followers on our YouTube channel. We just need another 9,800 and something to go. But you could be a part of that. You could be saying that you were one of those founders, if you will, one of the ones that got it started. You remember way back when. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Do you see that blur?
Yes.
I don't know.
You're fading in and out.
I have no idea what in the hell is that.
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't know if that's. Let me bring my light a little bit closer. Maybe that'll help. I hadn't seen that before. It's almost like it can't pick up my darkness. Like
Maybe it's the van that's circling the neighborhood because we're having the storm.
Yeah, the storm is coming, and we already have one casualty of it. It seems. Yeah, it's still doing it. I mean, what in the world? That is so weird. Let me see if I kind of tip that up just a little bit. Turn my light a little bit more. I never had to adjust my lights like that, so that's a little weird. We'll see how it goes. It could be my internet signal. I don't know, y'all. Hopefully, with this storm brewing through, it doesn't knock us out. It has kept the franchise from being able to join because he is without power. Thus, he is without internet. Thus, we will not get to hear how racist America is. Not at least not from him. I may step in, but it's never the same. It's never the same. You know, I can only hope to um, come to a certain point, but Jermaine's the one that can normally take it over the finish line. But thanks everybody for joining in. Again, wherever you're coming from. We also want to extend our channel to any of our creatives out there, any folks that have events or services that they would like to offer up. Please, please, please reach out to us, and we would love to be able to help you advertise and get the word out about that particular thing. So it's just me and Lori right now. How we doing, Lori?
Doing great, doing great, doing great. Like I said, I thought maybe the van was circling the neighborhood, and then I kept hearing like the little noises. I was like, "What is that?" So obviously it's the rain and whatever, but it seems like the weather folks got it right today. I think
Yeah,
they did.
yeah. Looks like
It's going to come later this evening.
Looks like it's blowing through though, so maybe it won't be one of those, crazy downpours, and the next thing you know, the power goes out. So we just have had bad luck this year already with power going out. It's just kind of crazy. So I don't know what it is. Anyway, well, we are getting on with the show. Got a couple things to talk about, but Lori, I don't know if you have been keeping up with the WNBA. And this whole fiasco about Caitlin Clark, and every time somebody blows on this girl, so anytime she gets fouled, she gets a rough foul. There the amount of pearl clutching. I put the words together. Pearl clutching that I'm seeing from people out there is just it's hitting utter ridiculous tone. And I can't help but think, Lori, that folks have overhyped this girl up so much. Um, and then don't get me wrong. I'll say this first. Being a girl dad, I think there's nothing better than seeing uh, the plight of women's basketball elevating more and more into a public sphere. More and more people are putting eyeballs on it. People are realizing that it is a competitive sport. Is it men's basketball? Absolutely not. It's not supposed to be. But is there value in women's basketball? Absolutely. Is it entertaining? It sure is. Um, but it is a relatively newer sport than you would say men's would be. They've been around a little bit longer. They've gained a lot more notoriety, attendance, uh, fan followings, and things like that. And this league, in its own right, will continue to grow. It takes time, and nothing is going to replace that. It's been a sport that has been influenced by a lot of great players already that have come and gone, and it continues to be a sport that is going to grow more and more and more. And I'm here for it. I'm glad to see women's basketball growing. But the outrage that I'm seeing with Caitlin Clark, it's downright despicable. Um, is she getting some hard fouls? Yes. That's what happens when you get a target painted on your back. Um, I don't remember anybody sitting there crying over Cam Newton when people would sit there after he throw the ball and he get the hell knocked out of him and get knocked down to the ground. I don't remember that outrage. Now, well, but Brian, he's a man. It's football. It's still an illegal hit. It still should be outrage. He's a quarterback. He ain't supposed to get hit well after he throws the ball. If Because when you think about it, the same hit that Cam got, if he had been named Brady, Breeze, Manning, any of those guys, Rivers at the time, it would have been a clear call. But because they looked at him and said, "Well, shit, you 6'7", 260 pounds," they they ought to bounce off of you. Well, it doesn't matter how big you are. It's the position and it's the rules. And it seemed like people got extra shots in because he was not the prototypical, in quotations, quarterback. So now Caitlin Clark comes from college basketball, where she put a lot of eyeballs on college basketball, even though she was not the only one that put a lot of eyes on women's college basketball. Whether it was her
Absolutely.
University of South Carolina with the great job that Don Staley has been doing at her program, the perennial programs, whether it's Connecticut, whether it's Baylor, all those schools have been helping to grow the awareness of women's college basketball. Whether it was players like herself, Angel Reese, Camila Cardoza, all those girls out there have been doing their thing. So it wasn't just Kate. Now, me being a basketball fan, I watched Caitlin Clark play, and I had some criticisms of her game, but I still said, you know what? Ain't gonna take nothing away from the girl. She's a great player. You know, there was a lot of mess about, is she really the scoring champion because of a prior record that was set by Pearl. Oh, now I can't think of her last name. It'll come back to me. Um, because of the fact that she set a record in a different women's league that wasn't established at the time as the what we now know as the women's NCAA women's. And should that not count because it was a different conference back then? So there a lot of hoopla over that. But Lori, long story short, I kind of feel like that I'm trying to be as nice as I can about it, but people are looking for a great white hope.
Hmm.
And, and I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with that. Hell, there was one before. His name was Larry Bird from Fritchland, Indiana. And dude could shoot like nobody's business. And I would say Caitlin Clark can shoot like nobody's business too, but Caitlin Clark jacks up a lot of shots to get the amount of points that she gets. Um, And that's one of my criticisms about her is that she holds the ball too long. She does pass well when she wants to pass, but she does have a shooter mentality. She's like a gunslinger out there on the court. And that means a lot of times she jacks up a lot of shots. Now, I don't want anybody coming for me and saying, well, Brian, Steph Curry jacks up a lot of shots too. He does indeed. Sometimes too many. Sometimes he don't jack up enough. Um, she'll have to learn how to play more in the flow of professional sports. But when you are a rookie and you come out with so much fanfare, yes, everybody is going to gun for you. When you're the number one pick, everybody you're going to take everybody's best shot. You know, when you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you just won the Super Bowl and you show up on somebody's schedule, they make an extra mark on that schedule because they can't wait to play you and show you that they deserve to be on the same field as you and get a couple of shots in at you to show you that, hey, you ain't all that, you know? Now, there was a foul on Caitlin that came up the other day, Lori, where she got knocked down to the ground by Kennedy. Now I can't think of her last name. It was another player. But what they didn't show was right before that play on the other end, the Fever had scored, and which is the team she plays for. And after they scored, she turned and looked at Kennedy, and something happened. Her mouth was moving. Caitlin Clark is known for talking straight trash. She's a
Yeah,
trash.
I thought she was taunting her or
Yeah,
taunting or did something.
story. She does it to everybody. That's part of her game. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Michael Jordan talked trash. Gary Payton talked trash. There's a lot of players that talk straight trash when they playing. But you got to understand, there's a saying, you got to take it as good as you give it.
You
So
better
when you're
cash
sitting
them
there
checks.
playing,
You gotta make sure
when,
that those
yeah,
make sure that you can cash those checks.
well, yeah, okay, yeah. So
Oh
yeah,
my,
the saying is don't write no checks with your mouth your ass can't cash. Yeah.
absolutely.
So she sat there, and as soon as the Fever scored, she turned back, even though she wasn't even the one. And Lord, she wasn't even the one that scored, and she was talking junk. So that girl said, "Okay, bet I got something for you." So she got down on the other end. Was it a cheap shot? It absolutely was. But if we gonna sit there and act like there ain't been cheap shots in professional basketball, people got some short ass memories. I saw Coach Gino Oriama of Connecticut, UConn, sitting there coming to her defense, talking about this is outrageous. This is just a travesty. All this crap, and I'm sitting there going, man. And they talking about and then he said, you never seen Michael Jordan getting beat up like that. I'm sitting there going, I don't know what basketball you watch, bro, but Michael Jordan got his ass whooped. Magic Johnson got his ass whooped a lot of times from his own team. When Kobe Bryant came into the league, they ain't even want to pass him the ball.
Wasn't he hated or
Wasn't
something?
he? Was he
Hated,
what?
hated,
He wasn't hated. It's
hated,
just,
or just disliked a lot.
it's just they thought he was too young and he was arrogant, which he was. And they just felt like he was full of crap, and he needed to bring it down a notch. With Jordan, they wanted to test him. Anthony said, she said if Clark wasn't shooting threes, Clark wouldn't be nothing. I mean, she takes a lot of shots. She really does. Matter of fact, I have her stats already up through 11 games. Caitlin Clark is averaging 15.6 points a game. Not bad for a rookie. Um, 5.1 rebounds, 6.4 assists. So she is dishing the ball. Um, 1.3 steals, but her biggest issue right now are her turnovers. 5.4 turnovers a game. That is way too high. Her field goal percentage, 35.7%. She takes a lot of shots. She has gone 51 of 143. She's taken 143 shots through 11 damn games. You do the math real quick. I ain't got time to do the math. That's a lot of shots a game to average 15 points. You know what? Now I got to do the math. I got to do the math real quick. That's 143 divided by 11. That's 30. Well, that ain't bad. But she's taking 13 shots a game to score 15 points. That's a lot of jacking as far as the conversion is. And it happens from time to time where you just got to keep shooting. You just got to keep shooting. 3-point percentage, 29.7. Decent 3-point shooter, 40%. So I've tried to give her a lot of credit in saying, look, she had an extended college season because she went deep into March Madness. Very little time between the end of March Madness, the WNBA draft, and actually playing games. So I'm not expecting her to lead the league in scoring. I'm not expecting her to be great immediately or to be a really, really good player immediately. My expectations for Caitlin Clark is you're a rookie. You're going to have to blend in, get in where you fit in. The college game and the pro game are not the same. And it's going to take some time to adjust. I have no problem with those expectations and for her to grow into those things. The problem is that folks sat there and anointed her the chosen one, and she gonna come into this league and do something that ain't never been done before. And there's a lot of folks that's already in the league that's taking exception with that, and they're gonna sit there and let you know you're gonna have to earn this. We're not gonna crown you like everybody else has crowned you. You know, whether it's televising all your games, to move to different arenas just to accommodate all the people that want to see you. We're players just like you. And when you out on this court, you ain't no better than the rest of us, and you gonna have to earn your way. Ask Jordan how them ass whoopings he had to earn getting beat up by the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. See, everybody remember Jordan for them 6 rings, but they don't remember what the hell he had to go through just to get them. I'm serious, he got his ass whooped. Him and Pip. They beat the hell out of him. Beat him up, which is why, because when Jordan came into the league, Lord, he was real skinny. He was real slender. He looked like me now. Real slender. Real svelte. Yeah, just svelte.
You were svelte. You're svelte.
Oh, yeah. Still got it.
Absolutely.
But he sat there in the off season and said, "Hey, y'all, for me to be able to make it through," I don't know who laughed. Whoever, he had to make it through. Hey, Amon, too. I meant to say hello earlier. And Alan and JP. But he knew that the only way for him to make it through an 82 game regular season, much less the playoffs, he was going to have to hit that weight room. And he did. He came back, and this dude was more chiseled. He was still lean, but it was just muscle, very little body fat. And he did that so that he could take a lot of those hits and everything. You know, because every player knows that your best ability is your availability. So that's how you do it. Hey, Lori Elise Parker, you're one lucky gal. Yes, she is. She got all this chocolate.
I'm blessed and highly favored.
Understands that you lucked up so much. Alan says, look at Giannis's rookie bill versus man. Great point. He came in, and a lot of them do that. They come in real skinny. Victor Wembanyama, I know he's gonna have to bulk up. I mean, yeah, he's as tall as he is and everything, but he's gonna have to be able to put on some stuff, or you're not going to last. It is a physical sport. I don't know where they got this idea that basketball isn't a physical sport. And for some reason, maybe they think that girls are less physical and they don't sit there and get heated in the moment. But they just had a clip the other day where some girls got tangled up down low going for a rebound, and they were about to come to blows. I mean, they got so close to each other's face. I was like, oh, it's about to go down. They had to get in between them. So listen, when you're in the heat of the game and you're playing, male, female, it don't matter. It's competitive sports. And you can catch this two piece, whether you a dude or female. It don't matter. So the outrage, people just need to park it. Listen, I believe Caitlin Clark will be a decent player in the NBA. Whether she's great or not, time will tell. But trying to anoint people before they got 2 feet solidly into the sport, I mean, that's not fair on that person because you're putting a target on their back. Even when she sat there and secured the shoe deals and the basketball deals from Spalding, I believe it was, and some of this other stuff, and now they're getting chartered jets instead of regular flights and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, she's bringing more eyeballs to it, and that's the only way the sport is going to grow. Is more jerseys are bought, more tickets are bought, concessions, everything else for them to get to that level. Hell, I make more a year than she does. I do. But not when you count endorsements and stuff. But that's just how women's sports is. But the minimum salary in the NBA, you could be the worst player on the team, and the minimum salary, the minimum wage is $1 million in the NBA. That is
In
not
the
what it
wrong business.
that is
Wrong
not. Yeah,
business.
you don't get no playing time. You might come in only if the team is up 35 points. And they say, Parker, come on, go on in there. Don't shoot. just get a rebound or two.
I just need you to stand right
And,
there
and
and
I,
then
I'd
just
be like, well, what? I'd be like, that check's still coming, right? Mm-hmm. $1 million a year? Mm, I'm gonna get it. And you don't want me to shoot? You sure? We good. All right. Hey.
I think regarding Caitlin Clark, it always makes me think about that movie with Samuel Jackson and yeah, it was Samuel Jackson. Great White Hype,
Mm-hmm.
which to this day is still the funniest and craziest movie ever. But I feel that and as I said in the preface of the movie, is they had anointed this guy who is just somebody, but he was the great white hope and everybody got behind him. And I still feel like this is what they do with Caitlin Clark. And I feel like and just as you said, I feel like she needs to grow into her role and into there, but they need to give her the time. But it's
Mm-hmm.
just because certain individuals have now anointed her because it's not because of who she is and what we normally have seen in within the WNBA or the NBA. She is different from what we would see. So now it's just like they have anointed her, and then it's just like they're not giving it. So obviously she has a target on her back, and you're gonna have to sit there and take them lumps because you're gonna sit there because you're coming from college where it's different playing into the WNBA than it is in college. You're gonna run some more. You're gonna have to sit here to do that. So you just have to kind of be able to fit in, but then also realize that you need to grow into her role. And I think she's just going through a lot of growing pains.
Yeah.
And whereas a lot of people now, they always talk about with people that are younger, they're very sensitive and everything else.
What?
She just needs to kind of get into and grow.
But you know what, though, Lori? Again, I try to be as fair as I can be. I don't fault Caitlin for any of this at all.
No, I don't
Um,
fault it's not her. I think it's just all of these people that have now deemed her.
it's the ecosystem around her to me that is not doing her well, not doing her a service in that
Absolutely.
the expectations are unrealistic. Because I think there is such a craving to see her excel and do well in a sport that, just like the men's sport, does not rely on a star white player. Not saying
Mhm.
now, listen, y'all. I don't want y'all to get it twisted into thinking that I got anything against star white players. I don't. But a lot of the sports today, whether it's football, basketball, baseball, have been dominated by people of color. Are there outstanding white folks in sport? Absolutely. I love Christian McCaffrey. They talk about, black dudes should be the ones running and stuff like that. McCaffrey one of the best to do it. You know, the NBA is being dominated by a lot of European stars, whether it's Luca, whether it's Doncic. Uh, Giannis is not from America. He's
Mm-mm.
Greek. Um, but Wimbiana, he's not from America. So what I'm saying is there is a diversity that is not dominant, that is not dependent on having the face of a team happen to be a Caucasian. It doesn't mean that there is not a place for Caucasians in these leagues and in sports. It just means it doesn't have to be dominated by that anymore. There are different people now that come in and they would appreciate a little bit of due too, and some of the same uh, um, luster that gets bestowed amongst players. And perfect example of that is Las Vegas Aces Asia Wilson. Now, she is an MVP. She is a WNBA multi-time champion, and she's doing a thing. Right now, she is averaging 27 points a game, uh, shooting 51% from the field. Remember, I brought up that old girl was shooting what 29% or whatever. She's shooting 51. She's the MVP. So there's something for her to shoot for. But it wasn't until this year that Asia got her first endorsement. She's been in the league for several years now. Again, out of the University of South Carolina, Coach Staley. Um, so she's been dominant over the last several years. Even before her, there were players, whether it was Candace Parker, whether it was Lisa Leslie, whether it was Shamika Holtzclaw, whether it was Rebecca, again, white players, Rebecca Lobo, Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird. The fact that I can sit there and name all these women players that played in the WNBA, and I can name a whole lot more than that. And it's not like I sit there and watch the league like that, but I'm aware enough of players that came before Caitlin Clark to know that the WNBA did not start this year when Caitlin Clark got drafted. But the
Absolutely.
problem is a lot of people keep acting like NBA didn't exist until Caitlin Clark got drafted. So that is going to rub some people the wrong way. And if people keep bestowing that upon her, let me just go ahead and prep all you pearl clutching people out there. That ain't gonna be the last ass whooping. She gonna get some more. Y'all go ahead and get some popcorn. More, more to come. Now, nobody's wanting her to get hurt, injured, anything like that.
No.
But you're gonna get your ass whooped. Like I said, ask Cam Newton. Ask Michael Vick. When Michael Vick came into the league, when they could catch him, they knocked the hell out of him. When Lamar Jackson takes off and runs like that, and he shows you up on the field, oh, they knock his ass. Oh, and another reason that Cam would sit there and they could get extra hits at him. Yeah, you want to celebrate and dab in the end zone and all that. They got your dab, homie. That's not gonna go unchecked. You gonna get your ass whooped. Just understand that you show up, you come in as a youngin, and there's some grown ass men out there or grown ass women out there, and you running your mouth, you dabbing, you showboating, and all that kind of stuff. When they get you, when they catch your ass, that's your ass. And that's just how it is. That's sports. You don't want to do that. I suggest pickleball.
Do you know how to play pickleball?
I do not. But I know that you ain't got to tackle nobody, and hopefully you don't have to sit there and bring somebody to the ground. They're comparing her to the MJ of the WNBA. And if they are, again, that is delusional. It is unfair to her because it is not giving her an opportunity to pave her own way. It was the same thing with LeBron James. A lot of us felt so turned off by the fact that they were trying to compare him to the next Michael Jordan. And I was like, LeBron James cannot carry Michael Jordan's jock strap on any day. Not his clean jock strap, or his dirty. Whether he just got them out the drawer or whether they smell like balls, he cannot carry Michael Jordan's jockstrap at all, ever in the story. Now, people are gonna want to fight me on that. Go right ahead. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. The only person that's closer to Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant. Period. Period. Um, he modeled his entire game after him. LeBron always reminded me more of Magic because his game was more about passing when he first came in. He was an elite scorer, but his thing was wizardry on the court where he would sit there and get the ball in the places that it didn't seem like you could be able to get the ball with that kind of precision. He was more of a precise passer, but could score when he wanted to. And that's what made him such a good passer because he could really determine when he wanted to score. Michael had to become a good passer. He was more of a pure scorer. There was the difference. So no, I don't look at LeBron and see anything of Michael in him. If anything, I saw that with Kobe. Now, and that was
So
the closest thing. But to try to anoint her as MJ, hell, MJ wasn't MJ when he first came into the league. He was just a rookie. Could he score? Yes. He scored a lot of points and lost a hell of a lot of games because it took more than him just scoring a lot of points for them to finally be successful. They didn't win their championships because he was a great scorer. They won their championships because he became a great leader.
and that's what I was going to ask a question, and especially relating to Caitlin Caitlin
Speaking of which,
Clark.
I do have my North Carolina with Jordan list.
Yes, 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 absolutely, the true Carolina. So what?
You learning? You learning? Okay, go ahead.
So my question is, and when we're talking about Caitlin Clark, as you said that she would need to grow into the role. When you were talking about her being as a shooter and everything else, that's where I was going to ask the question of when thinking about LeBron and also thinking about Michael Jordan. They passed the ball, like he was able to, and like becoming a leader for the team. Again, she just got there. She still has to grow into, but I think if they're trying to anoint her, I think she needs to kinda get off that her that high horse and learn to kinda be like, as I said, and I hate to sound as a cliche, but like as a team player a little
Well,
bit.
yeah, but again, it's not her.
Or
It's the
maybe
outwardly.
it's her PR, but I'm just like her people
No,
because 'cause they're
it's
like filling her head, which is basically about the Great White Hope movie,
but
which is still
I don't think it's coming from her. It's the ecosystem around her. Again, I don't fault her for any of it because was she given a lot of accolades? Yes. You know, but it's just like Caleb Williams just got drafted number one in the NFL draft. Nobody in their right mind is expecting him to sit there and go to the Super Bowl his first year. Or you be able to look after 11 games and go, "Oh yeah, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer." What?
so are you saying that, like, when you think about when they brought in Bryce Young to the Panthers?
Hype, overly hype, bullshit. You trying to sell me beachfront property in Alaska, that kind of stuff. Oh man, the sun will come out. Trust me.
Yeah, and, 2 months out of the year, 3 months out of the year, sure, absolutely.
So I'm just saying, after 11 games, she's pretty much where I expect her to be. But that's realistic expectations. Now, look, if she sat there and exceeded those expectations just because she was that dominant, great. But most players don't do that. And again, like I said, she didn't even have an off season. It's
Right.
like literally going from playing in the NBA to when everybody else would be at home or on vacation and you're training for the Olympics. because you're part of the US team. And then by the time you finish the Olympics, you got a couple of weeks and now you're back in training camp and you didn't get a break. And you start out a little slow because your body hadn't had time to rest. She literally has had no rest. None of the, whether it was Angel Reese, Camila Cardoza, none of them did because they went deep into the Final Four and all of that. So none of them got the same break that whose season either ended in February when they didn't get invited to the dance, or maybe they got kicked out of the first or second round of the NCAA tournament and they've had more time to let their body rest. She hasn't had that time to let her body rest properly. So she is having a very, very long season right now. It's almost continuous. I'm giving her that grace of saying, hey, I don't expect a lot from you because your body, not only do you have to adapt as a player, your body has to get used to that. Where in college you were playing only every 4 or 5 days, you're playing back to backs, you're playing every other day. The whole routine is going to be different. You don't have to go to class. Now you just go and go to shoot arounds, go to walkthroughs, and those kind of have team meetings and things like that. So everything's a little bit different. You don't have the school element anymore. All those things work a little bit differently. She's got to adjust to that. You know, maybe she was living with her parents. Now she got a contract. She's probably living on her own, or she got a roommate. All those things change. Those are life things that affect you, even though people don't understand that affects you even when you're on the court. All those outside things. You don't remove yourself once you get on the court. It still goes through your head. You
Of
might push
course.
it to the side, but it wears on you. So all of those things play into that. When you get become a professional athlete, some of them say, hey, I need to get a nutritionist, or I need to do this, I need to do that. So they change up some things with that. You don't have the off season where you can bulk up because you didn't have time to bulk up. You don't want to bulk up during the regular season because your body will start changing, and you have to adjust your game to the fact that now you sit there and you got muscles. So a lot of things change like that, and normally you need an off season to be able to go through that. So I don't even count her rookie year really as her rookie year. To me, it's almost like an exhibition because she did not get a fair. Now I say that, and I also would mean the same thing for somebody like Angel Reese. She needs to be able to adapt as well. So that's all I got going on with that. But I just keep seeing all this outrage, and like I said, I don't think it's fair to her at all. But I'm not going to beat that dead horse anymore. We talked a little bit about Caitlin Clark. Um, we talked last week about Donald Trump getting finally sentenced in one of the cases that went forward. The outrage, Lori, is amazing. You know,
Mm,
I don't care what party you guys are linked to, but understand both of them are full of crap. However, you do have to sit there and admire the hypocrisy that comes out of the Republican Party. Lori, when Trump got indicted and Trump got convicted, all I keep hearing is he's weaponized the Department of Justice to influence local prosecutors. So I'm trying to get this straight in my head. First of all, he's sleepy. He doesn't know where he is half the time. He can't get two sentences out of his mouth. He basically is not effective, and people are having to walk him around and remind him who he is and where he is. Yet, he's also the leader of a crime family sitting there so well hiding his crimes that James Comer and the reps in Congress have been investigating him for 2 years and can't find nothing. But he's sleepy, can't put two words together, damn near gone, but smart enough to outsmart them. So I don't know if that says more about him or less about them. Then they come up with a committee to investigate the weaponization of the government, only to weaponize the government, but they accuse him of having something to do with Alvin Bragg's case and why Trump got indicted and convicted. Yet, on Monday, his own son had to go to a trial that most people that get charged with filing bad paperwork to get a gun, because he obtained a gun while he was addicted to drugs. And apparently, on the application, it asks you about any addictions, and he lied so that he could get the gun. Now, it's funny though, Biden is good enough to be able to get Trump convicted, but can't keep his own son from going to trial. And Trump keeps trying to call what he got convicted for a paperwork crime
Era.
or error, but filling out a gun application, that ain't paperwork error. But if you ask the Republicans, Hunter Biden should not only go to jail, but damn near be put under the mother.
I really
But
believe
but if you take Trump's word that it was a paperwork error violation, whatever, oh no, he should be set free. Now come on now. Either Joe Biden is a mastermind or he is barely there. He can't be both. Then they try to say, well, if you saw him at the State of the Union, well, you ain't never seen him that wide eye. He had to be on drugs. He was jacked up on something, which I would say, and I'm sure have y'all in Congress have y'all little cocaine parties. I believe what Madison Cawthorn said about some drug fueled orgies, and I don't believe that they were always with the opposite sex either. But that's just me. Um, but it's just kind of funny how the same person that they say can barely say his name and get two sentences out is number one smart enough where you can't figure out what crime he committed because you ain't laid a hand on him in 2 years. Then you say he's smart enough to affect local prosecutors, but then not smart enough to make it where his own son doesn't face charges and go to court. Because let's be clear, if Donald Trump was the president and Don Jr. was facing criminal charges, do you think Don Jr. would ever see the inside of a courtroom?
no.
Hell no. No.
So to in your commentary, personally, I think that the Republicans feel that I guess Biden is really run. He's probably a robot, and the Illuminati is the sit here and the mastermind behind him. Because, as I said, or we're trying, or they must have been watching. I guess maybe the original Manchurian Candidate movie, even when you got the new one with Denzel Washington and all of that. But that's what
Mhm.
they be sitting here doing, and because it's just like it's absolutely ridiculous, and they
So
still can't find anything on Biden.
so I'm gonna so I brought all of that up because there is no rationale. What I just did was try to provide linear thinking to show you that it can't go in a line because they are contradicting each other. So this is why they do what they do. This is the saddest part. Is it hypocritical? Yes. Do they know that it doesn't make sense? Absolutely. Do they know that when they're doing that 1 plus 1 ain't equaling 3? They do. So, Brian, why are they doing it? Well, that's the crazy part, Lord. They're doing it because they think their voters are stupid. Period. They think it doesn't matter how hypocritical we are because they hate Joe Biden or the left so much. It doesn't matter what we say. They'll believe it because they want to believe it. They'll believe the lies because they want to believe the lies. Those lies are not for you. Those lies are not for me. We exist around those lies and we listen to it and we go, that don't make no damn sense. It ain't supposed to make any sense because that's not the point. The point is to get their people so riled up that you get a January 6th, that you get people sitting there questioning the validity of an election. That's all they want is to cause the chaos, to cause the confusion. That's all it is about. It's not about providing facts or anything like that. My mom says, and some of them are, and it's worked for them before. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It has because, and that's why they keep doing it. They're not going to keep doing it if it don't work. The reason that they keep doing it is because there's enough people out there that will believe it. And what we have to do a lot of times is push back with facts. Now, there's some people that you'll be able to reach with that, and there's a lot of people, unfortunately, you won't. Um, but it's just funny because the hypocrisy is just it's so glaring. It really is. You know, one minute they'll say we're the party of law and order, we back the blue. Then when Capitol Police intervened in January 6th, now all of a sudden, oh, they're lying. They were just letting them in. They wanted to get pissed and shit on. I don't get it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The police, you know. Then they backed the blue and they were outraged when this whole thing about defunding the police is going around. Yet, as we speak right now, they're trying to figure out ways to take funding away from the Department of Justice so Jack Smith can't proceed with litigation against Trump. Well, wait a minute. But you just said y'all ran a whole thing in New York because people in Bay Ridge and Staten Island were up in arms talking about how Max Rose wanted to sit there and defund the police, and we got that Malliotakis mother. That's how Max Rose lost his seat because they kept talking about, oh yeah, he wants to defund the police. That's how we got Nicole Malliotakis. That's how a lot of them lost seats in New York because they were sitting there in the more conservative places running their campaigns using that whole defund the police. Well, if you're trying to take away funds from Jack Smith, what the hell is that? Defund the police. It's just crazy. They sit there and say out of one side one thing, and then out of the other side they say the exact opposite. And you're looking at them like, okay, you act like I just didn't hear you. And it's crazy. They get away with it because a lot of times Democrats are just too nice. Well, we believe in decorum, and I declare we must show a level of civilism, of being civilized. Okay, that's what Caitlin Clark doing. She getting her ass whooped. Democrats are Caitlin Clark. You gonna sit there? You fighting somebody that don't play fair. They play dirty. I ain't saying you got to be dirty too, but damn, you got to at least put your hands up and guard your face. Don't just keep getting hit right in your nose. They sitting there lying. You got to do something about it. They just try to be too civilized and act like, oh, we're above that. That's fine. You be above that all you want. Your ass gonna get voted out. So it's just crazy to see that, Lori. And then also now they're making statements that they need to take it straight to the Supreme Court and get those conservative justices to overturn the conviction and all that kind of stuff. Ain't gonna happen, y'all. But but what I do see, Lori, I do see a lot of this litigation getting mucked up and slowed down. His sentencing is supposed to be on July the 11th. Before July the 11th comes, Trump has to sit down with his probation officer, parole officer, whatever they call him, for an interview.
Yeah, is maybe it was a meme, but I think they had showed a meme of Trump's probation officer. I think it's a black lady or something like that. A black
Yeah,
woman, excuse me.
Rachandas or Radranda,
Something
something
like that. That's his
about
probation
that. Yeah,
officer.
yeah. So quick question. Maman says, do you think Trump will actually serve time? I'm gonna say yes if. Um, Trump's goal, and it's not all him. Well, I mean, he would have done it anyway. Couple of things happened after January 6th happened. Merrick Garland and Joe Biden became the president. He made Merrick Garland his attorney general. Merrick Garland has left a lot to be desired as attorney general because Merrick Garland cared more about the appearance of the Department of Justice to appear to be an independent body because he thought that there were enough people in America that gave a damn. It didn't matter if you started investigating Trump on January the 21st or anytime, there was always going to be 35% of people out there that would say this is being weaponized, that the Department of Justice is playing political games. There's just some people that it doesn't matter what he would do and no matter how much he could prove that they were just following the facts where they go, they were always going to accuse him of that because it would just be politically expedient for them to do so. So, what does that have to do with Trump? Well, because he waited so long to appoint Jack Smith special prosecutor, that in itself was a built-in delay for Trump. All Trump is doing is running to stay out of jail. If Trump is elected, the federal cases in DC, the federal case in Florida will go away. It'll never happen because he will then be able to either pardon himself, which has never been done before and would have to be challenged by the Supreme Court, or even easier, he could just have his newly appointed attorney general just withdraw the cases and say, nah, we're good. We don't want to do this anymore and make it go away that way. He would still be left with the state charges, but then that would get a little murky too, because while in office, it's not like they're going to be able to prosecute him. And because what he would be able to say is there's a thing called the supremacy clause. And supremacy basically means that states defer to federal. Well, if he's a federal officer, they're not going to be able to touch him. Now, Brian, can they just wait till he gets out of office and then come after him? It depends. There's statute of limitations, and you could argue when he goes in, the statute of limitations pause, and when he comes back out, it continues again. That would have to be litigated. But you also got a nut that's acting like, hey, I want to be a dictator. So are we really sure that when he goes in, he's going to leave this time? Are we? Especially when he has his cronies in the Supreme Court basically saying that he may be able to have total immunity. So let's just play that out. Supreme Court comes back and says Trump has total immunity. He can do whatever the hell he wants. If he wants to order SEAL Team 6 to kill his political opponents and get away with it, he's more than able to do that. You mean to tell me that if he get elected and they give him that decision and somebody's running against him And then all of a sudden, I don't know, a drone strike kills that person and he's the only person left. And they'd be like, oh, well, I guess under presidential powers, you got to remain in office until we can have a special election. And anybody else that starts to run against him starts to fall out of windows by mistake and stuff like that. Sound like Russia, right? You think he'd be okay with that? I think so. So, is there a possibility that he may not face prosecution and serve time? Yes. But do I think that if Joe Biden wins, if Joe Biden wins, he's done? Matter of fact, I not only think will he serve time, I think he'll never see the light of day again. Only because whether it's Alvin Bragg's case, and now you gotta remember, Alvin Bragg's case carries a maximum of 4 years per charge, and they're not going to run them concurrent. They would run them all consecutive, so it would be 4 years. And because he's a first time, I know, Lori, and because he's a first time, I already know that they're not going to give him the maximum. Um, it's going to be either probation, home confinement, or maybe a couple of months at Rikers. But it's not going to be the full 4 years. But now the judge down in Florida that's been delaying everything, if he doesn't win, she can't delay it much more. The DC case will come back alive. The Fulton County, Georgia case will come back. There's a case out in Arizona where he's listed as an unindicted co-conspirator. And the only reason that they're doing that is they don't want his delay tactics to slow down the other people that have already been indicted. So those that have already been indicted in Arizona, they're going to go and then they're going to come back and get him if he doesn't get elected. I honestly believe because of the scheme that he pulled in various states, though, Lori, it's a good chance that once they realize that he's not going to be the president, he's not going to be the number 47. I guarantee you're going to see more lawsuits against him because then he has no shot of coming back from this. Anyway, hope that answered the question. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. I'm going to refresh our Instagram and then we'll finish up the show. Introducing Sawyer, Kid Lawyer, Teacher versus Nap Time, a great book that will help your little one with reading, writing, and spelling. Coming from the authors Shanine and Sheldon Muldrow. Please check this book out and support. Thank you so much. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions that you'll make. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help you navigate through that process. We know that a home is more than just a place to live. It creates memories. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help. Give us a call and let us get started on your journey. All right, we are back. And let's see here. I think, give me just a second. We're going to go back live on Instagram, Lori. I got it. All right. We're there. I got it. You don't have to run moments. You were about to run it, weren't you?
I actually was in the middle of it.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I had started it because I did it slightly out of order. So
It's all right.
But nevertheless.
Nevertheless, we are back. I just wanted to make sure the Instagram was back up. They are still trying to work with Instagram on they're trying to work with Instagram on trying to see if they can waive that whole 1 hour thing so that we don't have to keep doing that. But hadn't heard back from that just yet. But we are back live on Instagram as well as all of our other streaming channels. So why does it still say I'm in there? I'm not. I thought I left. I did leave. Oh, that's
It's
weird.
the
Okay.
van.
I don't know
It's
what's
the
going on.
van. It's the
Yeah,
van.
yeah. You see it in the green room, right? I'm not in the green
Yep.
room.
Okay. Like I said,
Oh
there
yeah,
you go. It just took a
yeah.
minute. It just took a second because
That's
everything is catching back up. The van just rolled by, so we
weird.
got it.
So to finish off what I was saying, yes, I do honestly believe that once all those hurdles of the election clear out, I just think right now nobody wants to bring charges against him because if you've watched, he has used the justice system and shown what can happen when you have unlimited resources and attorneys that can just sit there and drag a case out over time. The Alvin Bragg case, it took over a year for this to happen, and he delayed and filed like 12 motions even 3 days before the trial was supposed to begin, trying to get it pushed back, thrown out, all kinds of, and he believes in frivolous motions. So he will just use motion after motion to just wear things down. But most New Yorkers know that's kind of in his DNA, because that's what he would do in New York. He would sit there and have contractors do work for him and then turn around and sue them so he could pay them less money or not pay them at all and just try to tie them up in litigation to the point that they would just say, you know what, bump it, we're out. And he would just do that. And people in New York already knew who he was with that mess. But everybody else had this persona of, oh, he's been on The Apprentice. He's this great business guy. And when people don't do what they're supposed to do, he'll look at them like a man and just say, "You're fired." And the fact of the matter is, dude went bankrupt like 6 times. So, in bankrupt casinos at that, like, how do you go bankrupt in a casino? The house always wins. So, anyway, my whole thing about that, Lori, I just think it's kind of crazy. Buttoning that up, Lori, it is June now, so I will say, Happy Pride Month.
Absolutely.
you
Happy
know,
Pride Month. Happy as an ally for the community for the month of June. Yes.
okay, so you're an ally for the community, as you call it, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna ask you this serious question: does being an ally kind of make you want to, you know, try it out a little bit and see? Might be something you might want to partake in and just blame it on Pride Month, you know?
To answer your question, from my own personal opinion, no. But being as an ally that I'm respectful of the choices and what you're making for uh, uh, for that community. That's why I sit there and being respectful as an ally. But that doesn't mean that I'm just going to go willy-nilly because it's Pride Month for
No,
me. No.
okay.
Now,
So you're not gonna be in New York during in the parade wearing a tutu and no top on.
no. And you will say that because you always address me as a librarian anyway. So,
No, you know.
even though if I can sit here and just stay on the story time, when we actually were living in New York and it was happened to be we were in Manhattan somewhere and it happened to be with the parade that was going on, and I think that was the first time that you had ever seen anything like that, and you were very surprised at some of the outfits that you had seen.
So yeah, when we lived in New York, I remember we were just happening to walk through Manhattan. Did not dawn on me that it was Pride weekend and the parade had happened.
Mhm.
And we just walking down a random street, and man, did I see some stuff that I ain't never seen in my life. Um,
Even from the train, and you normally see stuff
on the-
crazy
on the-
stuff on the
yeah,
train at that
well,
time, but
anybody who
yes.
lives in New York knows that the MTA is known for alien sightings. You'll see any kind of freakazoid that you can ever. If you want to see freaks, just ride the subway in New York City, and if you've never done it, your experience will be memorable. I was shocked. I was done. I mean, I couldn't believe it. And mine also said pride for human choice. That's kind of where I'm going because when Pride Month comes around, the amount of people that gets triggered by other people's choices and decisions, it just never ceases to amaze me. And listen, if your belief system means that your belief system is for you, you know, it's your personal, as a lot of y'all folks like to say, well, it's my personal walk, my personal journey. It is in a lot of ways. It's your belief system. It doesn't mean everybody believes that. And if they don't, you have a right to hate them, especially when you claim your belief system teaches you love. I don't see. You remember I was just talking earlier about this whole linear thing with Republicans and hypocrisy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I have a hard time with. And yes, I'm gonna pick on Christians, but it could be anybody. But when you sit there and you tell me that your God is the God of love, um, God of and you talk about patience and virtues and
And
all these different things,
forgiving, and
right?
yes.
And all those things, and being an example to others. How do you do that when you're sitting there hating on people just because they've made a choice of how they want to live their life that has nothing to do with your ass? Why do you care if two men want to hold hands in Chelsea or Greenwich Village? Who cares? Why do you care if they want to get married? Lori, I saw somebody put, and it's one of my friends, ain't this Facebook friend. One of my friends posted. It took everything for me not to reply back because it was just going to start an argument. But it was about the real meaning of the rainbow. Christians, y'all can't hijack every damn thing and act like it's yours. Okay, I know the Bible talks about a rainbow is a sign of this and this and this. I get that. But you don't own a rainbow. Rainbows can be used to represent other things other than a covenant that God made. I hate to burst the bubble, but you don't have any exclusive rights on rainbows or rings or the word marriage. You don't have any exclusivity over that. Well, marriage is between a man and a woman. Says who? Says the Bible. Everybody don't believe in the Bible. You can't say, well, God instituted marriage. If you believe in God, everybody don't. That's like these dumbass people that think because they got pets, everybody love pets. No, that's not true. Or just because you got kids, you think everybody love kids. No, some people hate them little mother. No, it don't work like that. You can't own a rainbow, nor should you want to. Skittles might have a problem with you. Lucky Charms might have a problem with your ass. You can't own a rainbow.
Or unicorns or whatever.
Yeah, my God. I
Well,
mean, hell, what's next? I can't go sitting there dressing up as a rabbit because it's Easter. What the hell? Yeah,
that will again go into when you're going to start talking about Halloween as a pagan holiday and this, and you can't dress up and like, come
yeah.
on.
We're not gonna have a Halloween party. We're gonna have a Hallelujah party. Okay, but the fact that you're celebrating Hallelujah on Halloween, aren't you hijacking Halloween? I'm just saying, Christians, y'all need to get a grip. If your belief tells you that God created a man and a woman, and that's all that there can ever be. That's your belief. But when we talk about pride, I think people think that if I agree to accept somebody as they are, I'm agreeing with the decision. I'm condoning the decision. I don't think that's how we look at life. Life isn't about agreement. Life is about acceptance. Some of my friends are Republicans. I'm not. I don't sit there and say, well, we can't be friends because of your political beliefs. Your belief is for you. My belief is for me. They may not always go hand in hand and align with each other, but it doesn't mean that I take you to be lesser of a person. I may question some of your decision making, but I don't perceive you to be lesser than me because you do not share the same beliefs. I don't think that because I believe what I believe, that puts me in a better situation than you, or it should, or I should be looked at more favorably than you, or I should have more rights than you. Brian, you talking about politics. This is about some dude thinking that he's a woman inside, you know, or vice versa. Or they say they're neither. Pride is about being able to say, I'm comfortable in my own skin. Did y'all ever think about the fact of how hard it would have to be for somebody to come out other than what they grew up as, knowing the amount of vitriol, ridicule, hate, slurs, violence, bullying that they would have to deal with? I don't understand that. I don't understand how people that will say, I come from a religion of love, will be in church singing Jesus is love, will sit there and quote scripture about I am the light, I am the way. There's only one way, and it's through me. How the hell do you get through Jesus with all that hate? Brian, you judging people. The Bible says don't judge people. That's what you believe. I'm gonna judge your ass because you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Religion doesn't teach us that just because there are differing views and things that people are not entitled to live the way they want to. Oh, they can live however they want. Just don't do it around me. Well, then that ain't how they want. You don't sit there and if somebody is picks you up in a cab and he got a red dot on his forehead, do you jump out the cab because he may worship cows? No. If he's wearing a hijab, are you gonna jump out? I would hope not. You know, pride to me is more than just about the LGBTQ community. It's about diversity. It's about acceptance of others' right to believe what they want to believe. It doesn't mean that I agree with it. It doesn't mean that even if um, I am adjacent, meaning that I'm an ally, meaning that I have friends that are part of that community, it doesn't mean that it may be something that I want to do, but it means that I believe that I can respect somebody enough to be able to make their own decisions and do what they feel like is right for them. Guys, that's all it's really about. Pride is about being able to say, I am proud in my own skin. I'm proud to be the person that I am. If you are a parent, you want nothing more for your kids than for them to grow up and be proud of who they are and be great. That's all we ever want. Not to sit there and say, well, if you don't follow a certain line, then you're going to be looked down at, you're going to be this and you're going to be that. That's not for us. Accepting somebody for who they are and what they are doesn't mean that you're bending your principles. It's funny how people can pick and choose when their principles come into play. Because the thing about pride is a lot of these people put their business out there for all to see. And that's the part of pride. They're not trying to hide it. But if your business was put out there like that, how proud would you be? Would you be proud for people to know the real you or the one that you sit there and dress up as every day and go out and la 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 and kiki and kaka and all that? At least they're showing you who they are unapologetically and rightfully so. Whether you grow up as a Christian or wherever else, I don't remember any of Jesus's teachings that were about anything other than inclusion, bringing people in. You think all the people he fed loaves and fishes to believed what he was saying, or they were just there for a meal? Did he sit there and go, well, I'm not going to feed that person because they're not a believer? Show me one thing that Jesus did that was hateful. Now, did he sit in that, Brian? He turned over tables and da 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 da. Yes, because they were in the house, they were in God's house doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. He didn't have a problem with what they were doing, it's where they were doing it. So don't come at me with that. But you show me an instance where he said, hey, if these people don't believe what we believe, go whoop his ass. I'll wait. I'm here all week. Show me in your book that got dust on it and you put your cup on it when ain't nobody else in the house. Show me where that book says any of that. Show me where that book's supposed to teach you how to be the example of a godly man and a godly woman. Show me in that book then where it says all of that. I'll wait. Old Testament, New Testament, you show it to me. Go ahead. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll come back on the next show and say, man, I read over some scripture somebody sent me, and this is what it said. But I think you'd be full of it if that's really what you're gonna say. So yes, Lori, that does burn me. It burns me because it shows, love is about acceptance. When you love somebody, you accept them. Doesn't mean you agree with them. I love my wife. Do I agree with her? Hell no. Not on a lot of stuff. Some things I do, but total agreement. Anybody married to somebody that they totally agree with all the time? Because I'll go ahead and tell you right now, you lying, you lying. Now, if you think that's gonna keep you off the couch, then okay, I hear you, but you lying. Ain't nobody ever in no total agreement. If you are, then I think that it's a clone of yours. I don't think it's a real person. Maybe it's a blow up doll. Hmm? Anyway, I ain't judging. Do what you do. Just wash your hands. But anyway, I'm just saying. Lori, shoot, I don't want to shake your hand and you just get anyway. Guys, I'm just saying, listen, I need y'all to rethink the fact that if you're having a hard time during Pride Month, something is really wrong. Pride Month is, like Iman said earlier, a pride for human choice. We should always be respectful of people, even if they don't talk like us, look like us, think like us or anything else. We're all on this planet to get along the best way that we can. And it does not require 100% agreement. But sometimes you agree to disagree. I agree with your decision to do what it is that you're doing, but I would disagree that it would be the decision that I would make for myself. Both things can be true, and it does not violate your principles or your beliefs. You're just being what we call triggered. All right, Lori. Final thoughts on that?
Uh, thinking and I think you just wrapped it up very nicely.
Did I now?
You did. And then I was going to, because as you had started talking about that, I thought we were going into our other segment.
We are.
Right. But I kind of, and usually what burns me kind of goes on here. So that's why I kind of went on here. So we have a few minutes left.
Yep.
So is there anything else on what you don't like?
Oh, I do, but I'll let you go. What don't you
Um,
like? And audience, if there's something in there that you don't like, please chip in. I love to hear what it is that you don't like. What don't you like, Lori?
hypocrites.
Do
I
tell.
mean,
Are there any out there?
I don't want to sit there and go on to a long tangent, but it's just, or going back onto hypocrites. And at this point, you need to let people be and let people do what they need to do.
Hmm.
Um, if whether it's a role or anything, if you were placed in or doing something that is specific, please stop trying to control every narrative. Let them do what they were supposed to be doing and what they need to do. Stop trying to control everything. And I think this is something that you tell me all the time, because you say to me I have a little control issues.
You do.
But I acknowledge that. See?
No,
Um,
you ain't acknowledged it. I had to tell you. But go ahead. I'm listening.
but that's what I don't like. Letting people just be. And I acknowledge that I do have control issues, but I'm working on them. And then I'm going to say this for the rest of everybody in the world to hear. In that instance, you were correct and you were right.
Hmm. In that instance, I'm gonna point you back to the first comment that Amon made was that you're a lucky woman. And you need to accept that every night. You need to be acceptant of
I
that.
said, and I said it at the beginning. I said that I am, by having you in my life, I am truly blessed and highly favored.
Mm,
And
are
I
you now?
thank I thank God every day for you. You
All
know
right.
this. I tell you this all the time, and then you it's talking about, well, what you want. But that's why. Moving on.
Yeah.
Love you,
I don't
boo
like
boo.
I don't like people putting all my business out there. No, also what I don't like is um uh, folks that don't give enough grace. Um,
That's the theme of the day. That is the theme of the day.
I think that we all fall short in one way or the other on a regular basis. Nobody's perfect. But I think that some of us sometimes get high on our own supply and we don't sit there and think about any other point of view other than the one we have. And there's so many other points of view out there. There's so many reasons why that we may not even consider that sometimes we need to just sit back and think sometimes that just because we learn things a certain way don't mean that everybody learned that way. And that's okay. But it's okay to not see things the same way. It can be frustrating sometimes because you want it to be your way. Everything can't be just your way. And you need to be okay with that. And you need to not let it get to you. And then also what I don't like people that just take things way too seriously. Enjoy life. Have a lot more fun with it. I'm saying this as somebody that's about to turn 50 years old, and I realize that I got maybe fewer years in front of me than I do behind me. That you need to sit back and actually enjoy life before it's all over for nothing. There's a lot of people that just do until they can't do anymore, and then they're gone. And we keep losing a lot of people lately. A lot of folks leaving what we would consider a little early and things like that. And the thing is, you just don't know when it's your time. So why don't you make today better than yesterday and make that your goal every single day instead of worrying about what you don't have, what you haven't done, and start thinking about the things that you can do and what you do have. Well, that's gonna do it for me this week. Now I just preached a sermon and I didn't even sit there and have an offering plate go around. But instead of donations, I will take follows on YouTube and for you to like, share our YouTube page and any other page and have other people like the show as well. And I know you guys can do that. You've been doing that. I appreciate it. I do see that. I like to thank all the people, Lori. I don't even know if you even know this, but I was looking at our May demographics and stuff. Man, we getting people from all over the world tuning in. I wish I had it up right now. I'd be able to. You know what? Hold on one second. Oh Lord, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you real quick. 'Cause this is pretty fun. Just in the month of May, Lori, I'm gonna tell you what we had. Because you're gonna say that's crazy. I know. Here and then go
What?
all the way over to. Oh, hold on. I got it right here. I'll
Oh,
tell you exactly. Okay, check this out. Chile, Venezuela, Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Australia, Brazil, United States, all in the month of May. I appreciate that. Yeah, I can see that. Now that's just from Roku and Amazon. That doesn't play into YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, and Instagram. That's just Amazon and Roku. Chile, Venezuela, Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Australia, Brazil. Wow. I appreciate that a lot. So y'all keep helping us grow and we'll keep coming back week after week. And Caitlin Clark will keep getting her ass whooped. But it's okay. She gonna be all right, y'all. She gonna be all right. Maybe she can take some of those pork chitterling bags of chips that's coming out, Lori, and that'll help her out too.
no. AI needs to stop. Let us stop with the AI because that was just gross.
I'm here for it. If y'all do decide to make some chitterling chips, maybe wrap snack, jump on this, Master B.
No, no, we're not doing that.
All
Absolutely
right.
not.
I'm Brian Parker. This is another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker with Lori Parker. We will see y'all again next week. Peace. Look it. Let's go.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.